Bitcoin, similarly, is an aesthetically gorgeous piece of technology that makes all other forms of money look ugly. And we know that two things. Number one, people are throwing money at it to make it more secure. It's never had more investment than it does now. And it also is attracting more energy. So these other systems, the other altcoins or even fiat money, will perish due to lack of energy because they're not attracting the energy because they don't have the aesthetic that Bitcoin does. Fiat money is doomed. They understand that no fiat money has ever survived. They've all gone to zero over 300 years. If you're an American and you're confused because your government and your regulators are not providing you with enough education, leave America. If you're living in a country like in America where the political class and the elite and the media are openly attacking you and undermining you and trying to disenfranchise you, bankrupt you, and unemploy you, leave, get out, take your Bitcoin and just leave. It's going to be the fastest growing country in the world. Why? Because of Bitcoin. The axis of power and the pendulum of power is swinging away from the dollar and the fiat money world. It's a new century. It's a new world, Danielis.
In this highly contentious interview, Max Keiser is asked many difficult questions about Bitcoin's future from a Bitcoin skeptic. However, Max is still very confident about Bitcoin's future because he's not focused on its current low price. Instead, he's focusing on its surprisingly high hashing, mining, and investing data that all support the fact that the Bitcoin network is the strongest it's ever been. Max believes that Bitcoin's price will soon catch up to the data, and as a result, he supports an incredibly optimistic price prediction for Bitcoin in 2023. Make sure you stay until the end, because Max Keiser has a dramatic rant that you don't want to miss about why his new home in El Salvador is so much more financially free than the United States and the rampant economic growth it's seeing. Now, let's see what Max Keiser has to say.
I want to talk about the outlook. You know, this is obviously part of our outlook series. Max, you're kicking it off for us here. And the damage, and I know that they should be held in two different lanes, but you know, you can't argue the fact that Bitcoin has been thrown into the FTX disaster. People are lumping it in all into one conversation. Let's talk about the damage done to Bitcoin.
No damage.
No damage.
No, the network has never been healthier. The network has never been stronger. Bitcoin, first and foremost, is a network. Network stability over price stability. And Bitcoin was something that was discovered in 2008. It was dropped onto the web in 2009. It has extremely interesting properties. One of those properties is that when prices are down, it attracts a lot of critics and it attracts a lot of attacks, which could then fuel the conviction of the people who are actually investing in the network. Investments in the Bitcoin network have never been higher. That means the security has never been higher, and price will take care of itself. So like Tim, the VC on Tim Draper reiterated his $250,000 call for Bitcoin in 2023. I concur with that entirely. Don't worry, the price will take care of itself. What we want to make sure is that the network is stable, and this Sam Bankman-Fried scandal never touched the network. The network is still TikTok next block. There's no problem. And the amount of money being poured into the network, that is into the hash rate, into the mining, into the security, has never been higher. It's running at 240 quintillion hashes per second, or calculations per second, which is an all-time high, close to an all-time high. And I think that Bitcoin is a wily beast, and sometimes I think it just likes to drop in value to pull out the scammers, to pull out the Mashinskys and the Kevin O'Learys and the Mike Novogratz. You know, the scammers out there, they get exposed and then they get wiped out, and then they won't have any money to buy Bitcoin. So don't worry about Bitcoin. Worry about yourself.
I'll tell you why I worry.
Bitcoin will still be here when all these guys are gone.
What my point was, and I want to get back to Draper, there's a lot of things I need to talk to you about. But when I say people are worried, right, investors, right, who are looking at the crypto space as a whole and calling me and saying, I don't know what's going to happen to Bitcoin now. There's a huge question mark surrounding the fate of Bitcoin. why should I believe that Bitcoin is still going to be around? Why is this technology going to beat everything else? Why can't something come out better than Bitcoin? And I have to say, the experts I've had on recently, I don't feel there's been anyone who's been able to properly answer that question yet. So can you answer it today?
Right. Well, I don't know anyone who's worried about it. The Bitcoin maximalists have been telling you that all these other coins are scams for years. So if you lost money with the scammers, shame on you because you got greedy. So nothing I can do about that.
No, people lost money with Bitcoin. It's down 60% this year.
It's been down before, but the network keeps rolling over and keeps ticking, and investment into the network is at an all-time high, Daniela. You're not listening. Investment in the network is at an all-time high. Okay, don't look at the price. The price will take care of itself. Anyone who's held Bitcoin for 4 years is in the black.
At the end of the day, people want to see numbers, and they're saying, when will this be reflected in the price? Because they're just looking at these forecasts now, saying, these ambassadors have come out. These ambassadors have come out with these huge forecasts, and they just keep moving the goalpost, just like Draper. He's been calling for whatever, 220,000, 250,000. Now he's moving the goalpost a few months down the line.
Look at the network. Sorry, I have to keep repeating myself, but the investment in the network has never been stronger, and price takes care of itself. It's like berating Warren Buffett. Like, when is my Apple stock going to hit new all-time highs, Warren? He'll be like, well, it's the fundamentals are great, and we're buying more. And by the way, I'm the most successful investor in history. This is the time to buy Bitcoin because it's vastly superior. It's the best money ever known to human. It's the hardest money ever known to humans. The network's never been stronger. The use case has never been stronger. The reveal that all these scam coins are junk, as I've been saying for years, is now stronger. And so everything is completely as it should be. The people who can't see the difference between Bitcoin and the scam coins like Ethereum, Cardano, XRP, etc., they need to do their homework. There's nothing it's not like you're a bank on Wall Street where every time you make a mistake, you get a bailout. Daniela, we as individuals don't have that. We have to work and do research and live a real life. We don't get the bailouts that the BlackRocks do and the JP Morgans do. So you have to do your research. You haven't done your work. Do your homework, and your worries will be addressed. It's like the Mona Lisa or the Sistine Chapel of money. The Mona Lisa is still the most viewed artwork in the world. It attracts 20 to 30,000 visitors a day at the Louvre because it's aesthetically, it's gorgeous. It's aesthetically beautiful. Bitcoin, similarly, is an aesthetically gorgeous piece of technology that makes all of the forms of money look ugly. And we know that two things. Number one, people are throwing money at it to make it more secure. It's never had more investment than it does now. And it also is attracting more energy. So these other systems, the other altcoins or even fiat money, will perish due to lack of energy because they're not attracting the energy because they don't have the aesthetic that Bitcoin does. And, we can have this discussion all day long, but the fact of the matter is that the amount of investment going into the network is hitting new all-time highs. Everyone who's putting money into the network has the conviction and the belief that fiat money is doomed. They understand that no fiat money has ever survived. They've all gone to zero over 300 years. They know that all the scam coins are scams. They're all going to be classified as securities. Again, here in El Salvador, the president made these new security laws that differentiate clearly between Bitcoin and everything else. Everything else is a security per this new law. Okay, so if you're an American and you're confused because your government and your regulators are not providing you with enough education, leave America. Move to El Salvador.
When you say record
people are
amount
free
of money
here. People
are going into the
economy
network.
is growing here. The president is working for the population. If you're living in a country like in America where the political class and the elite and the media are openly attacking you and undermining you and trying to disenfranchise you, bankrupt you, and unemploy you, leave. Get out. take your Bitcoin and just leave. There's no reason to complain.
It's not
There's
easy.
You're only here
well,
once.
But people have, it's not easy for everyone to just pack up and leave. I'm sure a lot of folks would love to do that. Just want to conclude on this Draper, because he looked to the gender disparity. That's kind of the crux of his, at the heart of his thesis as to why he thinks Bitcoin's going to take off. He says, my assumption is that since women control 80% of retail spending and only 1 in 7 Bitcoin wallets are currently held by women, the dam is about to break. He goes on to say that retailers will save roughly 2% on every purchase made in Bitcoin versus dollars. Once retailers realize that the 2% can double their profits, Bitcoin will be ubiquitous. So, to his point, I mean, do you agree partly with his thesis? I'm assuming you do, but I just have a hard time seeing how this can happen in a matter of months. I mean, he's talking about a change in beliefs and system and the way people spend money and how women shop as to being a game changer.
Yeah, in countries like El Salvador, in less than a year, the entire nation understands what sound money and hard money is all about. The awareness of Bitcoin is almost 100%. Usage is at 20%. It's growing all the time, and it happened pretty quickly. And the economy is up, as I said, 10.3% GDP, and the numbers look fantastic. They're going to report, right now the estimate for El Salvador GDP is 2.8%. But based on what I've seen on the preliminary data, it looks like it's going to be 12%, Daniela. It's going to blow the doors off. It's going to be the fastest growing country in the world. Why? Because of Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin is an amazing transformation, and it can happen very, very quickly. When the printing press came around, things happened quickly. When people, Thomas Edison was hacking away trying to figure out how to make a light bulb work for years, tried thousands of different materials for the filament, then suddenly figured it out, and within 2 years, we went from gas lights to electric lights. So when things change like this, they happen very, very quickly. If you're in a country like the United States, which is basically has an entitlement fixation that they alone should be entitled to the world's riches and that everyone else in the world should beg and scrimp at the feet of America, well, you're going to have a problem because the axis of power and the pendulum of power is swinging away from the dollar and the fiat money world. It's a new century. It's a new world, Daniela. So again, if you're unhappy in the United States, I suggest you move. And move now before prices here start getting out of hand and you won't be able to afford anything.
Click this video to watch Max Keiser reveal how the British economy is collapsing and how the elite are abandoning the existing world order.